Damn, is my mic working now? There we go.
I can hear you.
Cool. Well, you can, but they couldn't. We are live, though. Everything is working fine. This is episode 4 of The Captain's Log. My name is Kyle Springer.
And I'm Paul Kang.
And we are the Whatnauts.
You're goddamn right we are.
Yeah. Another exciting adventure of The Captain's Log. Thank you guys for joining us. If you are joining us live on Twitch, we stream this out every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're somewhere else in the world, figure it out.
Fuck you.
Yeah,
Fuck
but
all of you.
But if you cannot make the live stream, that is a-okay. This will be up on YouTube and as a podcast the week afterwards. But yeah, let's start diving in. I think we have a good number of things to talk about this week, including some Stranger Things 2, a comedy club that I went to, and
Okay.
DC Comics has some interesting news to talk about that I think we'll have an interesting discussion with. So, that said, how are you, Paul? My
I'm
good
doing well.
friend. Good sir.
I'm doing well.
That's good.
Can't complain. You know, stop and smell the bushes, the roses. You know, I'm just kidding. Well, the reason I sound so chill right now is because I smoked like 3 joints, and then
As usual.
my girlfriend Sarah, she's using a what's she doing? She had this like light that she made for like shop class or something, but like for the stand of it was an actual microphone stand. And I've been dating this girl since like May, and like it wasn't until like 2 weeks ago that I was like, wait, like I have this podcast for 2 years. I've been dating you for almost a year. I've now just realized that I could use this stand for my podcasting. It's beautiful. It's like one of those like black metal ones.
How dare you keep
You
me
know,
in the dark?
It's got, ironically, because it was a lamp, and it has like all these like joints and stuff. So like I'm like sitting back comfortably, for the very first time, and it's like hanging like just right at mouth level, like just.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned I think you used it like a week ago, and off mic afterwards you mentioned you used it, and you were like, "Man, I feel so energized." Like
it's great.
Yeah, I can just sit back, relax, and hang out and talk.
Yeah. If I close my eyes, it's like you're there. So.
Yeah. Oh.
I like it. And like I finally feel like I'm podcasting. Like now, like I look like Joe Rogan right now because he has the mic, the overhead mic. It's like an overhead mic.
There you go.
Stand. So I'm like chill right now. I'm like buzzed out and it's ready to talk.
Nice. Sounds
So
good.
thanks to my girlfriend for that.
Sounds good. My week has been interesting.
Okay.
It let's see. I think it was a Wednesday. This past Wednesday, yeah. I came home from work. I went there early because I was supposed to have a meeting with my new boss and kind of the new team that I'm working with. I'm still doing the exact same thing. It's just that my previous boss left, so the company was like, yeah, we're gonna kind of move you in with these people. But
We are cattle.
kind of. I mean, I'm like bottom of the totem pole, like doing all the grunt work. But they were like, okay, we have these like every other week, like team meetings. They're usually like 10:30 in the morning. You should come and at least say hi, to introduce yourself. You don't have to be there all the time since you're not like really doing what we're doing. But yeah, I was like, all right, sure, I'll be there. So I wake up, go into work early on Wednesday. I'm there for like 20 minutes, and I'm just like, holy shit, I feel like crap. Like I'm starting to feel lightheaded. I can barely focus. I barely even know where I am. My like headspace is just in this fog. Right?
Yeah, it's called being high.
mean, yeah, that might be one comparison, but in a way where it like just like I feel like shit. Like this does not feel good. And so I emailed my boss. I was like, I hate to do this. I just got here like 20 minutes ago, and the meeting is in like half an hour, but I have to go home. I do not feel good. So I went home and I passed the fuck out. I was in bed. I slept the entire day. Woke up Thursday for work. Still not feeling 100%. Just can't really focus. But I could make it. I was fine. Friday, a little bit more of the same. Still felt a little bit better. But I still just I didn't really know what was wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
Friday night, I don't know what hit me, but I threw up.
Oh God.
Yeah, and I never do that. Like if I get sick and it's sick to my stomach, it's coming out the opposite end. So for me to throw up is like a rare thing. Thankfully though, like I can always tell when I'm about to. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna throw up in like 2 minutes here. Okay, I need to like go upstairs, get in the bathroom, and do that.
Collect my belongings.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna get some water real fast and go upstairs. So I made it to the toilet inside, but the throwing up, man, is the fucking worst.
It's not nice.
It is not at all. It is a terrible feeling. So thankfully it was just a one-time thing, but then, yeah, like I had no food in my stomach, and I was supposed to go grocery shopping that next Saturday morning because I didn't have anything. So I'm like stuck at home sick with no food. It's just like, I don't know what to do with myself.
Order a pizza.
I can't really afford one at the moment. I've done that a little bit too many times in the past month.
So you're stuck.
So I'm stuck. I finally on Saturday afternoon made it out to the grocery store, but I didn't buy like my normal haul of like, okay, here's, I need to get like a backpack's full, and then I can hold stuff in, both of my arms,
Do you ever drink water? I feel like you don't drink water.
I normally don't, but more on that in just a sec, actually. Yeah, usually soda is like my main thing, which is terrible. But like, I think it was like October this past year, I was like, okay, 2018 is going to be the year that I start drinking a lot more water, and I should start now, because if I wait till 2018, that's not gonna happen. but yeah, so
now then when.
Yeah, exactly. So I started to feel better Saturday. Sunday I felt a lot better. I went back to the grocery store, got some more food and stuff like that. That same day though, my roommates decided to do another like family style meal.
God damn it.
We made ribs, we made chicken, we made mac and cheese, we made collard greens. So that was like my first big meal after like slowly doctoring myself back. Yeah, like I was like, this is perfect timing because I feel great right now, and this food looks and smells delicious.
White people.
One of them is not white. He's a black guy.
Can I ask who made the collard greens?
The white girl. Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they both kind of cooked all this stuff at the same time. And then we had some people come over and stuff like that. But here's kind of where my thing dives off into a bit of a story. Not only was I feeling good and I ate all that food, I was feeling good enough to get drunk.
Oh boy.
So I had like 6 or 7 shots. I lost count. I had a beer and a glass of wine. and I was not that drunk, actually.
It might have been all the food absorbing it, to be honest.
Well, I had like 4 of the shots before I ate. So, like, usually on an empty stomach, it's like, okay, maybe I can take a shot, but I should probably eat some food first, because, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be making stupid decisions and not remembering the rest of the afternoon.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, so I had a couple shots. I was like, that's like, I'm feeling fine. I'm a little bit tipsy, but not as, not what I expected to be. But I was like, all right, now I need to eat. So I ate and stuff like that, and I was still drinking. But yeah, like, that's, for someone who doesn't drink, that's a lot of alcohol, especially just being sick, too.
Yeah.
But then they were like, hey, after dinner, we're going to go to a comedy club. And I was like,
I so envy you guys.
And I was like, okay, let's do it. I am doing it. You've done some stand up, as well. I listened to a bunch of the kind of funny content that they do, and one of the hosts, Nick Scarpino, does a lot of stand up. And he's been
producer/producer.
Yeah, exactly. And he's been talking about it. And I'm like, you know what? I've never gone to a comedy club, so I've been thinking in the back of my mind, like I should go. Like I should do something. I don't do shit with my life, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I should get out and do something. So we went, and it was like a local Richmond comedy club. There were 3 improv teams that got up there and performed for about like 20-25 minutes each. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a very interesting time for me to like.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. For me to like Friday night be doing exactly that.
Yeah.
to Sunday night being like shit-faced and going out to a comedy club and eating barbecue ribs and chicken and stuff like that. I was like, man,
it's the human body is a vestibule for like contrasts.
Yeah.
Or vestibule or just a fucking cup for contrast. Like one day you're fine, the next day you're like literally dying.
It's crazy what we can do. Weird stuff, man. But yeah, I have been I have been drinking a lot more water, because probably shouldn't drink as much soda as I do. Probably not healthy.
No, it's no, take out properly. You're fucking dying. Like, you're literally killing yourself. Like, it's like you might as well be smoking.
It's just so damn
which
cheap.
I do, but like
it's so fucking cheap, and that's the worst part.
But like one day your metabolism is just gonna drop, and you're gonna be one of those guys on those carts, and it's like, dude, I used to be a dancer. Like, what? Like, they're gonna put you on like subway posters.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I used to be a dancer. That'll be the name of the campaign. I used to be a dancer. And like,
there you go.
It's just like a guy on a fucking motorized cart, and it's like Kyle on his shirt. Like, you'll be that guy. Like, do you want to be that guy? If not, then stop, killing yourself. I mean, I drink a lot of soda too, but I'm a year younger than you, so like, when I'm your age, I'll be like, all right, now I have,
But it's weird though, because I still have a super fast metabolism.
Sure.
Which, who knows how long that will last, but still,
not just that, but
it's like you're only a year behind me. Like that's not saying much.
Yeah, I'm totally kidding, but like, you could be pre-diabetic and you have no idea.
Who knows?
Like, a member of my family, I'm not gonna say who, but like they're already diabetic and they shouldn't be. And you're just like, what? Like
diabetes.
How? Yeah, like, I'm not, no judgment whatsoever, but I'm like, okay, like.
Oh sure, no, it's bad, and I know it's bad.
And she was eating healthy. Like, she hasn't had soda in like, I think, a decade, and she has diabetes, and it's just like, she's vegetarian as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, you gotta be careful. or do checkups. You're white. It's okay to get a checkup. No one's gonna judge you for that. Call you a slur.
Man, it's been a strange week though.
Yeah, yeah. When you said comedy club, I envisioned like
it
20-year-old comics, like
it was
that Trump guy, like
interesting. I was expecting it to be a little bit more of a club with like a stage and like people getting dinner and stuff. More of an open mic night kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But this was, I mean, a lot of Richmond has like row houses, which instead of like houses being like stereotypically like square or whatnot, row houses are a lot longer. They're more of a rectangle shape and they go back, for a long time. And then that's what this was. So it was this really thin stage where there's like 2 or 3 rows of seats. It's not much, and maybe like each row was about like 25 seats wide.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like 2 or 3 rows of that and like a 5-foot wide stage, and that's it. Like it was tiny.
Yeah, not all stages are equal.
Well, sure.
God, I'm high.
But like, there's more room in my bathroom.
Yeah,
it was on that stage.
Sure. No, some stages are enormous. Some are just like some. There are no stages. You're just like ground level with the audience.
Yeah.
But like, it's what you do on the stage that matters.
Yeah. I'm like envisioning some like movie set, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's gonna be so cool. There, there's gonna be spotlights. There's gonna be, people, chilling out, listening to some comic that they're not really paying attention to.
Yeah. When they start talking amongst themselves, like, this is a bad set.
Yeah, and it's like, no, but it like, for such a small show, and like me saying it was a small show and being like, oh, it wasn't this big like movie studio thing, was not to be like this was a bad show, because I totally had a lot of fun. It was it was the first one I went to. Are there better shows out there? Maybe. Who knows? I wouldn't know because I've never been. But yeah, like it was a lot of fun, and there were a few of those skits that were actually really funny.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they did have a huge missed opportunity though, and I didn't want to be that guy, so I kept my mouth shut to not like say something or at least like whisper something, because it was so small. I'm sure they could at least hear me whisper. But one of the improv teams started off with a skit about this woman dying, and she they're like, okay, we need a suggestion. Name a dangerous location, and someone shouted, "The in-laws," and I was like, oh, that's fantastic. So one of the in-laws dies. That in-law happened to really like bowling. Okay. So they do another scene. It's all the same characters. They're keeping the same characters from scene to scene, which was neat. It was more of a long form thing. So they do this. They do a scene where like that character is bowling and stuff like that. It was supposed to be a flashback. Then they do one where the in-laws were also bowling, and they had a terrible marriage and all that stuff. And they're like, man, like, why is she so good at bowling? Blah 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 blah. All of this stuff, and there's stuff about how their marriage is terrible. And they're like, you think I'm gonna get a strike? And they're like, no, with our problems in marriage, all we're gonna get is gutter balls. In my mind, I was like, come on. A split in bowling. You can get a split. It's like you're having marital problems. Like, that's the crux of this one scene, and in my mind, I'm like, come on, it was right there. Oh well.
You heard it here first, kids. Kyle's gonna join that improv group and redefine his life.
I would be so terrible at that stuff. Like I'm okay in like witty conversations. Like that's kind of how you and I became friends, right?
Yeah.
Like we just sit there and argue for argument's sake on stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one I was like, oh come on. But it was still a lot of fun. Go check it out. Go support your local comedy scene. Do it. It's fun.
Richmond is not known for its comedy. Not really.
Not really. It's there though. Like it's it's mixed in with the bar scene and the brewery scene. Like they have that stuff there. Like our
Civil War scene.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Let's be honest.
At least because this was walking distance from my house, so this was pretty close to campus. So it's not like on campus. The like historical stuff really isn't there except for Monument Avenue, which no one really goes up there anyways. But like the part of Richmond that I'm in is like bar scene, breweries, but the breweries are also like venue spaces and stuff like that. So you can go to shows and things like that. So who knows? It was a lot of fun though.
If you had to describe Richmond as a person, it would be like a lumberjack hippie who's also like woke and fashionable. And his girlfriend is like wears flowers in her hair, but she's like an interior designer. Like that's Richmond.
Bunch of hippie art kids.
And their moms and dads are Confederates or like Republicans.
They're like, but I'm an artist.
Lib Dems. Like that's Richmond, and they're both artists. Like, but he uses a chainsaw instead of paint. But like, so Kyle lives there. And it's like there's not a lot of humor there. You know what I mean? It's not like known for its comedy, but I'm sure it's
not
there.
Not at all, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know. Maybe there's a thriving underground Richmond comedy scene. Joke's on me then, right?
Did Richmond have an underground scene?
Like underground comedy?
Maybe we just weren't...
Underground.
No, just underground anything. Like, we're just not cool enough to know about it?
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff.
All right.
I mean, it just kind of depends on what you're into. Like again, this was the first time that I've ever been to a comedy club, so I don't really know how popular comedy clubs are here in Richmond.
Yeah.
You know? So, who knows? There have been stranger things, as some might say.
Yeah. Actually, I got a better story than that.
Oh.
This happened yesterday.
Way to just shit on my segue there, Paul.
It's whatever.
Way to crap on my segue.
Sorry, man. Anyway.
That's okay.
I'm high as fuck right now. Okay. So, like, yesterday, I was with Sarah, my girlfriend. I love my life. The moon to my stars and all that shit. Anyway, I was with her, and, like... if you
great conversation, Paul.
I know, Pulitzer worthy. Our middle point, or in the middle.
Whatnauts Captain's Log, Episode 4, Take 57.
I got this. It was a dark and stormy night. No. Okay, so the midpoint of Sarah and I's homes is like downtown Lisbon.
Okay.
So we always meet there. Downtown Lisbon, near there's a place called Gage de Sodré. It's like the end of the line. It's like right by the bay, and, to the river. And so there's this beautiful water, and there's a bridge that they made it look like San Francisco, Golden Gate, I think. Then there's a Jesus statue, like in Rio de Janeiro.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like that's like it's a fun area. There's a lot of bars, there's coffee places and cafes and just cool restaurants. And you just walk around. It's by the river, and all these artists are there. I'm gonna start doing my shit there. But
Cool.
yeah, there's these benches right next to the train station, and you just sit there and look at the ocean and get high. And yesterday I was doing just that. I was sitting on the benches, looking at the river, getting high. And I saw these 3 guys. They looked like foreigners. Sarah and I were just chilling on the benches, and they were, they looked foreign. And I was rolling a joint, and I was just like, I want to help these guys out. I don't know why. I just had this feeling. They're 3 dudes, all white males, and
Yeah, white
their
males need a lot of help,
I know. Gotta look out for them. But like, it was very interesting because I was like, oh wow, they're all like pretty attractive dudes. They almost look like from a catalog.
Okay.
It was weird. Like I was like, they all look very like, they're very handsome. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But they were like really close by, so they weren't far away. And they were like rolling this shitty joint, and they had this like shitty hash that they just bought off the streets. Just that brown shit. And I was like, I'm a help them out. They look young. I was like, whatever. Sounds creepy as hell. So I approached the 3 boys.
What do you guys need? We got some better weed. We got some more drugs.
Yeah. And so they were just like sitting there, and their hash was like all crumbly and weird, and it was inside this folded piece of paper. Like just.
It's an old, like, Wrigley gum wrapper.
It's insulting to the concept of hash. Hash is amazing when it's, really well done. The best hash is ass hash, because it's shaped like a pellet because up somebody's ass. It's really nice. You don't put it up your ass. That's just how they transport it. Anyway.
I know, Paul. I know.
I mean, though, you can do it that way. Anyway. I was like, I'm gonna help them out. They look young, they look like nice guys. I have a lot of weed. I was just like, whatever, fuck it. I'm just gonna, make their day. Walk up to them. And Sarah doesn't like when I'm smoking anyway, because like the smell bothers her. So I'm like, I'm gonna use this opportunity to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Go over there. I'm like, hey guys, I'm Paul. Blah blah. We just sit down and just start chatting. And like pretty soon I've got it rolled. I'm like, hey, you want me to light it? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I light it, and we just start sharing it. And just really cool guys. They're from Germany. Average age was like 23.
Okay.
And like, I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing in Portugal? And they're like, oh, we're going to school here. I was like, you go to school here? Shit. So, immediately I was struck with like, how high we were, because we're all really high. Because I smoke a lot, but I could tell these guys hadn't had a joint in a while, so like they got pretty baked.
Yeah.
And I was just like, let's talk about the universe. And they're like, yeah, dude. So we started talking about the universe. And started talking about parallel dimensions and infinity and double infinities, and some infinities are bigger than others.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Like, we're just baked out of our minds. And I'm like, Sarah, come over here, Sarah. Because we're all just, like, going, like, just total neurotic.
So I hate to interrupt.
Yeah.
But you know what this reminds me of?
What?
In Schaefer, one time, when you still lived in Richmond.
Ugh, good times.
We were sitting there eating, and you have one of your moments where you were just like, I'm gonna ask a random ass question to start an argument.
Yeah.
And you said,
man, I was weird back then.
Is there such thing as two infinities, or you said
two
said,
nothings?
Yeah, you were like, is there such thing as two nothings?
Yeah, because nothing is a something. Nothing, because nothing
is a noun.
There is nothing. It is a concept. It's like, is it possible to have two? Because if you have one, then you can have two. Why not?
Well, it's possible to have two concepts, but not two nothings, because nothing is literally the absence of everything else. So you can't have two absences of something.
Why not?
Because that's not how it works.
Like if
That's
there's a
not
parallel
how the Force
dimensions-
works.
Okay. No, but listen, like in our universe, we have nothing. It's out there. We're just, we just don't know what it looks like. In a parallel dimension right next door, I'm sure they have a nothing. So it's like there's two nothings.
But that's in separate universes. You can't bring those two nothings together, then they become one nothing.
But then you have something.
It is still nothing.
But it's still something.
Mm-hmm. It is the lack of something. A nothing. 0 plus 0 does not equal 1.
I really hope the audience is as enthralled as you are.
This is exactly the useless
This is the same argument.
Exactly.
Of what happened.
I'm sitting there like stuffing pizza in my face and all that stuff. You're eating a bowl of cereal and like some weird cheeseburger that you made that has God knows what the hell you put on that thing.
Who cares? Good times, man. I'm only gonna live once. YOLO.
And you didn't even smoke then.
No.
Like,
I smoke now.
That's just you. Like, you're like, the way your mind works, you're just like, can we have two nothings, dude?
We're wearing gloves. Like,
what the fuck are gloves? They're like pants for your hands.
Or are your hands?
I have no idea where that one is going.
Anyway, I'm a little too big for this. But anyway, my story continues. So we're having these, and I'm like, Sarah, come over. And like, Sarah comes down. She's like, hi, guys. That's what I love about this girl. Like, what I love the most about my girlfriend is she just knows when to be appropriate,
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, she knows, not that I own her, I'm just, she's her own separate person, but like, when I'm with her, it's like, I never have to worry that she's going to act inappropriately or crazy.
Mm-hmm.
She just knows, like, I think everyone should, but like, she just has it down on, she just has it.
She knows how to conduct herself well.
Yeah. It's really nice. And then, so I love introducing her to people because like I know they're gonna love her. And so like I was like, hey, come over here, like say hi to these guys. And she's pretty shy, meeting new people.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, whatever, like I don't care. So she comes over. We're all having a good time. They love her. She's doing great. And then I'm like, let's just get some food. And they're like, yeah, that sounds great. So we all start walking. And I'm like, as I was walking, I was like, this is so weird. Like, it's just, this didn't have to happen,
Yeah.
And it also helped because, like, as we were talking while high, we were still high, but we were just like, every single act, no matter how small, affects and changes the nature of the universe, Not even butterfly effect. It's just that,
I mean, it is the butterfly effect, but not in the like time travel way where if you change one thing, just like
what I mean by that is like,
you
if
do.
you take the Mona Lisa and you take away one atom of it, it's still the Mona Lisa, but you've changed it.
Yeah.
Or if you take a little chip of it away.
Yeah.
So in the same way, if I move my finger up and down, I have changed the universe, no matter how small.
Just like Chuck Norris when he does push-ups.
Exactly. The whole Earth. Pushes the Earth down. But it was just so cool to like be with these total three strangers that we suddenly trust each other. Because, weed was involved and we were just talking. And now we're like eating, we get these delicious, simple sandwiches called bifania in Portugal. It's just beef.
Mm-hmm.
It's like nice and fried and juicy. You put it in like nice bread, but not like Wonder Bread or that shit. Like that bread that almost looks like rocks. It's kind of round in shape. And it's,
ciabatta?
It's rough, of course. Yeah. No. It's European. It's got that like, it's just bread, like oven baked bread.
Pretty sure ciabatta is at least foreign name to the U.S.
Sure. But all I'm saying is like rough.
Sounds European to me.
In shape, fluffy white on the inside. You take juicy, beef. You slide it in there. You put a little bit of butter sometimes or not.
Sounds so good though.
And it's just like fresh baked round bread, and just delicious beef. And they give you like mustard or ketchup or mayo. You don't need it, but if you want to go crazy, and you just chow down on it, and then you order a coffee, a small little coffee, and I was just like, I don't know, we're all so high that we were just like, it just felt like a pure moment, we're all just getting to know each other and talking, and I don't know,
there's something about food that does that. Because my roommate's boyfriend came in while we were all sitting there eating Sunday night, and he sits down, he starts talking, and he's just like, man, there's just something about watching people eat good food.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome.
I think it's a very satisfying feeling because if you just look at it biologically, you feel the most safe as a provider and as a participant when you are with loved ones and you're all eating good nutrition.
Yeah.
You're watching literally the strengthening of a tribe or whatever.
Taking care of yourself, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like inherently you will have a good feeling. You can't be pissed when there's like salami and like pastrami, like a Korean barbecue. You can't have a bad attitude. You can't. You have dick hole if you do. So like I think it's just inherent, and like but speaking of which, like it was so cool because it was such a pure moment. I was like, I don't know you guys, but I'm gonna trust you.
Yeah.
And let's just go get something to eat and just have a great conversation.
Yeah.
And then I was like, add me on Facebook, and we said goodbye. That was it. It was like this really nice. You couldn't find nicer guys. They had so soft spoken, really really cool. They looked like the Spice Girls because one guy was really athletic, and he was wearing like surfer shorts. They looked like from a catalog. The other guy was like super philosophical. He had like I forget what he was studying. I think it was philosophy. He had like long brown hair.
But the very
mustache.
essence of nothing is the lack of substance, Paul.
We literally said shit like that all the time. And like he was wearing denim. The other guy was like, blonde, good looking dude. And I was just like, I don't know. It was just cool. It felt like a dream. It was very dreamlike. And I think that was because of the weed. But I don't know. What I'm trying to say is like, get out there and like, don't be afraid of strangers. Unless if you're 7 and below, don't listen to this. Like stranger danger. But like, if
maybe not the best advice, but
yeah, if you're in your 20s or you're like, if you're in your 20s, perfect time. Just go out into the world and
make a friend.
Talking to you shy people. If you're shy, if you're like, you don't go out a lot and you're like, opportunities aren't happening for me. I think it's because you're not looking. And it's just like, just go out there, just talk to people, just talk to them, engage with them. Be like, my name is
Bob. That's a little bit better because that's similar to what I did too, right? I'm the dude who like stays inside and watches TV the whole time. I've never been to a comedy club, but there's so much fun.
There's so much fun.
Get out there, do something.
And I don't mean just like go on Tinder or Face. No. Like just talk to strangers on the bus.
Treat yourself to a burger.
Yeah. Like go out and do what you were designed to do by nature, to engage with other members of the species, and you'll have more sex, you'll have more friends, you'll have more fun. Just get out there. Like, stop being afraid of what people might think you might say. Who cares?
So speaking of universes and things we might not need more of, I do kind of want to shift the topic of conversation onto something else here, Paul.
Let's do it.
So there's some interesting news that came out this morning from DC Comics.
Oh boy.
Paul, you may have seen it. I'm not sure, but I'm absolutely baffled by this news. I just, who, why, what, like, who up there in DC or Warner Brothers or whatever the fuck is happening thought any of this was a good idea. So this morning, DC Comics announced that they are making a live-action TV show called Metropolis about, you guessed it, the city of Metropolis, but get this, before Superman is there.
No, fuck.
You know what else, Paul?
Why would I watch that? Superman's already boring without him. Superman's already boring with him.
I beg to differ, but that's another story. You know what else really just baffles me?
Hit me with it.
They want to put this on their own streaming service.
No one's gonna watch this piece of shit.
Exactly. What the fuck were they thinking? That
not with their heads. With their pockets.
If you're thinking the idea of like, hey, let's do like a DC Comics property about a city before the hero that is like connected to that city is there. If you think that sounds familiar, Gotham, it's because the same people who are making Gotham are gonna make this show. The same like minds behind it, and it's gonna focus on Lois Lane and Lex Luthor. There's just I
just stop caring, Kyle.
Yeah, it's absolutely stupid. But
don't bring this shit into my house, Kyle. Dust your fucking feet.
But here's kind of the question that I want to talk about based off of that. Where are streaming services going at this point? Because I've already heard a couple people mention talk of like, look, at some point this is going to collapse. Like this business model will not work. It's like we're already getting there, right? Because at one point Disney was talking about making their own streaming service, but now that's probably not going to happen, thank God, because now they're probably going to own 60% of Hulu if the whole Fox thing goes through. So what, like, when will we see that bubble burst, Paul?
I even if it bursts, who gives a fuck? Because like the consumer doesn't really lose a lot. You know? Like it. Hear me out. Let's say there's 100 streaming services out there right now. Maybe there's more, maybe there's less. I don't know. But let's just say 100. They'd have to offer blowjobs like through the fucking PC screen.
Well, sure, but like
for me to switch, which they're not. Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, like we have Netflix, we have Hulu, we have Amazon.
Listen, even if there's
Disney
100,
wants to make one, DC wants to make one, HBO wanted to make their own one, CW wanted to make their own one.
I'm not that scared, honestly. I'm just more like I'll just keep using Netflix until something better comes along, and then I'll switch to that.
But that's the thing. Like if so many people start making their own services, it's gonna go back to, hey, we're cartoon. Like every single channel has their own streaming service. And so
it's becoming a television channel. They're just television channels.
Basically is, and you can kind of pick and choose which ones you want, but then it's still $10 a month for an entire channel, and that is bullshit.
Well, we pay more for cable.
Right, but you get like thousands of channels.
If it gets too expensive, then stop paying for it. Just you can live without it.
Which is exactly what I'm saying will happen. That is that bubble bursting.
We'll read more books. We'll take more walks.
But what if you can't get books?
I don't know.
Because of Barnes and Noble's streaming service or Amazon
I'll go to a
Kindle
library.
stuff.
They have libraries. I'll go to a fucking library. I'll talk to more people. Like case in point, what I just said. I'll engage more with the human beings on planet Earth.
Sure, like that. You know? I mean, I don't think
if you're that addicted to TV shows, I don't want to hang out with you.
I'm not saying like when is this gonna become an addiction. I'm not asking that.
Yeah.
It's just like at what point is too many of these streaming services? When will that bubble burst? Because right now, that business model.
I don't care.
That business model. Paul, you might not personally care, but I'm asking you to like spitball with me here,
Okay.
like because that business model right now is still super popular, and
Pretty strong. Yeah.
we're starting to see other kind of forms of media dip their toes into that. This past week, Xbox, announced some changes to their Game Pass thing, which is kind of like that. And it's big news. It's like, oh shit, that's actually well worth my money. But then when you have, like you said, like 20 different streaming services for one kind of content, for movies or TV show, like, when is it too much? When will that just implode and not work? When will we have to move on to something else?
When you say implode, are you saying like...
When will we have to move on to something else? When will they have to re-strategize the business model?
I think when the money's not there anymore, I guess. Because the reason why Netflix has so much power and so much content is because of the money. They did it first. Everything before Netflix is bullshit. Netflix fixed it. And so the reason why they have so much power is because, like, everyone's like, oh shit, let's all jump on the Netflix bandwagon. It's
right.
Like, everyone who listens, Netflix is a tribe, and we all contribute in our small way to that tribe.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think the hot word on the street now, as they used to say in the 80s, is...
as the kids are saying these days.
Yeah, is curation.
Yeah.
Curating.
Content
and it's
curation.
like whoever best can curate content, it will be the winner. And Netflix has done that for a good long while. They just figured it out. But the more you have these types of streaming services, like you said, Hulu, and what if Mercedes wanted a streaming service? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Hyundai, and they could specialize in, I don't know, car racing. That'd be crazy. It'd be a good idea, actually. I'm sure they do it. But it's just like...
But that's the thing. They would then charge you $10 a month, which is the same thing as Netflix, but they're not going to have if it's car
exactly.
stuff.
That's money that could have gone to Netflix's pocket, but now it's in Mercedes. And so the more people curate and the more people are consuming, eventually it I don't know if it's going to be like a bubble bursting. It's going to be like, for me, more like a fizzle out, Everyone's like eventually paying just one person.
It's gonna be it's not
There's no corporation.
It's not going out with a bang then.
Yeah, it's like a fizzle. It's not like housing. It's not like you're losing your house because
sure.
It's more just like you just lose some more entertainment you could have had. So I think it's gonna like fizzle out, and it's just like, all right, let's switch up the model, because Netflix lost half of its subscribers because half of those people individually went off to something. This niche that they like, the niche that's curated to them. So it's just like, yeah, it's gonna fizzle, and then they'll be like, we're losing a lot of sales because now it's democratically spread out, trickle down effect, whatever that means. So yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. Because let's say just car companies start doing this. Let's say, Apple. I mean, Apple, fucking, they already do it. But like,
yeah, Apple has also mentioned they're interested in getting in on the competition there.
Yeah, you're just like, wait, we have billions of dollars in the bank. Why can't we just hire some TV crews and some tech guys, and like, we can do this?
Yeah.
Like, everyone should be doing this, because it generates competition.
Like, I'm honestly surprised that Facebook hasn't gotten in on that yet.
I mean, they already do it. You are the channel. You are the like, every single person they have has their own channel, so they don't really need to.
Well,
it's like,
that's more like streaming stuff, which is different. It's still a direction that a lot of media is taken off, but like, I'm talking about like Facebook owning. I mean, and they might own stakes in
I don't think
something, but
I don't think Facebook would like to be linked to that, like giving them money every month. Because they always say Facebook, it's always free and it always will be.
Well, well, sure. Facebook, the website is, but that doesn't mean that Facebook doesn't have like other companies. They're like they have hands in like artificial intelligence research and stuff like that. All sorts of things. So for them to be like, hey, we're gonna make our own streaming service where it's exactly like Netflix except for maybe detail X, Y, and Z. You know, it's just this is just our version of that.
Yeah, I mean they do have a lot of money. It's just maybe that's just not what they're interested in right now.
It might not be, but like
Mark Zuckerberg is like
Apple's getting involved in that. You were talking about this hypothetical, like, what if a car company wants to get in and make their own streaming service? Like, any of these companies can do it.
You could literally just buy a company that's already doing that and just put your fucking brand on it.
Which is what I think Facebook would do. Like, I don't put that past them, right?
But it's just, for me, it's not like the housing market where you could lose your fucking house. You know what I mean? It's more just like,
I can't
watch that show I like.
Connects, but
well, no, because you called it a bubble, like a streaming bubble. You know what I mean?
I'm bubble in the sense that like the popularity is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually it's going to pop. Like, they're going to have to rethink their business model somehow, someday.
Yeah, but they're
that
always doing
nothing.
That. They're constantly doing that.
I mean, sure, like you could probably make a comparison to the housing market, but it's not exclusive to that, right? It's just like Beanie Babies. There was an influx of popularity, and then all of a sudden, no more. You know.
Well, I guess maybe for the same reasons. I guess, you know, like the worst case scenario, I'm just gonna be like, well. Like, worst case scenario, like, all right, I'll just go to YouTube.
YouTube has one. They have YouTube Red and YouTube TV and
yeah. But here's the great part. If that goes worst case scenario, podcasts go up. I mean, there's already an influx of podcasts.
Yeah.
Sure. But you know, like I said,
I think a lot more
should be fun.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to the streaming stuff. I think a lot more like user generated content is going to be put out there. A lot more people are going to be live streaming, whether it's video games, podcasts, their own like homemade TV shows, who knows what.
Yeah, and that's why it's going to be like a slow or maybe rapid like descent, where it's like the 12, because Netflix is like $12 a month.
Yeah.
But let's say you make something that I'm like, oh my god, I have to give Kyle $12 a month. Holy shit, that's money going out of Netflix's pocket and going to a certain individual. But if he doesn't have as much reach as Netflix, then he's not a competition, but he is a parasite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That'd be.
So it's just like, so imagine everyone starts their own channel and. So it's just like it's.
I mean, that's basically kind of what YouTube already is, but it's just like as big as it is now. Like, once the bubble of like the streaming services pops, it kind of makes sense that all like this user generated content and streaming would be will become a lot more popular. I mean, it's getting more and more popular now.
Yeah.
But it's, it's still just like, well, I'll pay my $12 for Netflix, my $10 for Hulu, and I'll get Amazon Prime too,
Yeah, worst case scenario, I just go outside and I smoke and I look at the clouds. Oh, this is nice.
Exactly. Crazy stuff though, man.
Yeah, because the internet's only 20 years old.
Yeah.
Really. And you can't uninvent it, you know.
Well, they're trying to.
You can, but North Korea is involved. But like, it's we have no idea what we did. We have no idea what we're doing. There's no roadmap for this. It's not like, oh, the ancient Egyptians, they had Wi-Fi and all this technology. They fucked it up, but we won't because they did this and we will. No, there's no roadmap.
Right. Yeah.
It's just we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to make AI tomorrow or in 10 years.
Yeah. And
we don't know if the
think
We
about
don't know if we can handle it.
think about how far technology has come just from 10 years ago when Twitter didn't even exist, you know?
Yeah, and how did Twitter change the macro mindset of humanity?
Drastically.
How did it change us? How we think every day? How do these little screens? We have no idea, and it's just, and yet we boldly go forward where no man has gone before, just because you'll feel more secure because you'll have ones and zeros in your bank account that you never touch.
Yeah.
Great. It's all for a feeling of security. You just feel. It's all about a feeling.
There you go.
You know, I feel better
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is, like, it's all going to shit. We have no idea what we're doing.
It's all gonna be Wall-E at the end of Wall-E when we're all all fat in our pods, and it's feeding us, and our entertainment is just fed right into our eyeballs.
I'm gonna give an example to how true that sentiment is, that concept is. If I had VR that could, like, put me in any universe, it would literally put me in a universe where I just sit down all day and eat and fly around in my car.
I mean, we kind of have VR already. It's getting there.
And I'm like, get to work on that, because, like, that's all what I would do, and then physically I would look like that because that's all I did.
Yeah.
So, like, we're all going to shit. It's fucking over.
What a
There's no
morbid way
here.
to close out the show.
Yeah. So if you want to support us on Patreon,
yeah. So if you do want to
Whatnauts.
support the user generated content like we have here,
you don't need that money.
You're
You're just gonna die one day, and nothing matters. Just give us that money.
What's the Patreon link, Paul?
I have no idea.
Great job. Paul is prepared for whatever.
Nothing matters, Kyle. Nothing fucking matters.
It is
Those
Patreon.
atoms.
Patreon.com/the Whatnauts. You can throw us a buck. And if you do not have a buck, that is A-okay. This is streamed out live on Twitch for all of you to come join us on Tuesday afternoons at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll be up the next week on YouTube and as a podcast for your listening pleasure any way you choose to consume our content.
Yeah. Do you know what we just did? We just pulled a church move. It's like the preacher, he's up there, and he's like, "You're gonna burn in hell without the Lord Jesus Christ. You're gonna burn in motherfucking hell if you don't switch to the Lord Jesus."
By the way, give us your money.
And play the organ. Here's the money for God. We're gonna send it to Malaysia.
It does actually help us instead of lining the pockets of both Paul and I. This goes back into actually making the show. So it's a lot of fun for us to make it, but we hope to one day be a completely listener-supported show so that we can keep growing and making more awesome things for you guys.
That's what Kyle says. I just want to relax on a beach with a drink and some weed and some nice-looking girls.
One day we'll get there. One
that's
day,
what
Paul.
Kyle says. For me, I'm just gonna say it, guys. I don't want to do 9 to 5.
I mean, I'm right there with you,
don't.
Paul. I'm not saying anything against that. I'm saying the money that they give us on Patreon, if they go sign up, goes back into the show.
Weed.
No, you won't. But yeah,
won't.
go ahead and follow us on Twitch here. We are trying to reach up to 50 followers, so we can get a little subscribe button. So hopefully you guys can also start supporting us that way as well. Go subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook and Twitter and wherever else except in real life, because that is creepy.
You can follow me.
But with that, my name is Kyle Springer.
And I'm Paul Kane.
And we are the Whatnauts.
You're goddamn right we are.
Adios, guys.
Bye.